Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. You hear me? So welcome all of you to the day related to the heart chakra in the emotional week of the month of Scorpio. So today I hope you read the blog because that explains too much, but I will try to make a summary of what I wrote today. And just don't worry, because it was a lot of information. It was too intense, and I will try to make some videos explaining specifically each one of the topics discussed in that post. So first of all, I would like to clarify that the post that I write every day, I have no idea what I'm writing. I just sit and start to write, and the information just expands and starts to appear. So so the things that I wrote today for me was also like, oh, now I get it, because I was supposed to write about sadness today. I thought it would be sadness, but I had no idea. When I started to write, the direction took a very different way, and suddenly I knew why. It's like, whoa, now I get so many things. It was even for me a discovery of many things, and also to understand what happened yesterday after the alignment, that I had no clue of what was happening yesterday. So now I'm going to try to explain it. So yesterday, for those who had no idea about what happened yesterday, you can see it in the video from November 14th. So during the alignment, I started to feel this being that was really like dark, but also light, clear. It was weird, but he was really heavy and very hyperactive, like moving constantly all around like a kid, playing, and suddenly he wanted to talk, but I didn't allow him to go inside of me, because he was very crazy, so I don't wanted him to disturb my energy. So I said, okay, tell me what you want to say and I will translate it. And he said no, and I said, who are you? And he said, I'm Pablo. And I said, that's not your name. And he said, okay, I am Pedro. And said, okay, I will just call you entity. And that's it, because I don't know, you're playing with me, so I'm not gonna name you. So I will just say you are an entity. So he said, so the message he gave was, the beings like us, he said, the beings like us are here in this existence to try to take us away from the center. So to prove if we are in the center or not. So they are here to try to take us away from the center. So because they know how to do it, he wanted to share an information and advice with all of us of how to find the center. And he said, the way you do it is the law of 12. The law of 12. So that's why I'm going to explain the law of 12. So when I start to write and to explain to my higher self today what happened to me in the alignment, suddenly I start to realize about the information of all the data from the last week that I've been channeling. Sincerely, I don't pay attention to the channelings so much because they never have a meaning in the very moment. So you have to wait until something happens that clarifies everything. So I don't usually think much when there is a channeling. I just don't think about it, and later it takes all the meaning. And that's what happened. So the thing is that suddenly when the higher self started to explain to me what was this being that came to me yesterday, he said he was playing, he was having fun. So he's reminding you of all those beings that they play with reality, that they are like kids, that they represent the game, all the lower ways of living, like sexuality, like the games, all these lower things, lower vibrations, playing like a kid, doing jokes and so on. So he said, what are those beings that usually we know that are with that energy? So I said, the faunus, the elf. And what is the word for elf? And I was looking into that, and he said, Pan. Pan is the name of the god the semi-god in Greek mythology. Pan is the name of the fauna. They are these beings represents fertility. They take care of the kids. They are playing all the time. So they represent all the lower passions of the world. So it's the Pan. That's the name. And he said, and what was his name? And he said Pablo, Pedro. And I said, so what is the English name for Pedro? In English is Peter. So it was like Peter Pan. No, that's too weird. It's like, no, Peter Pan, that's a joke. And he said, well, it's not the character from the movie or the book. It's not that character. What it represents is the Pan. The Pan is that being, the being that plays with reality. Okay, and is the kid that plays with reality. So so Peter Pan, the character from the movie, from the book, that story is a character with the energy of the Pan, of the faunos and elves from the mythology. So that's why they call it like this. So he was playing, but trying to explain me from where it was. That was he was trying to say, playing with me. So what my higher self explained me is that all of us have this part of the fauna. The fauna in the mythology represents the lower passions, and the salvage energy that we all have within, which is the animal energy that we have inside. So the fauna energy is like the kid, without the thinking and the morality of the grown-ups, no wisdom, no reason, just feeling. If the fauna, the kid is excited, is okay, express excitement. If the kid, the fauna, is sad or is mad or whatever, it doesn't hide anything. It is what it is. It shows everything. So that energy we all have within. Okay, that's the lower part that says, if I feel this, I have to show what I feel. That's it. Nothing else. So this is why it's so difficult for us, the energy of the fauna, because it's more related to the kids that feels and act according to what they are feeling at any moment. They don't rationalize, they don't think about the consequences of what they are doing. So the energy of the fauna is, it doesn't have control. It's impossible to have control over that because it's a passion. It never thinks about what is going on. It just feels it, just do it. That's it. This would mean that if the fauna, the energy of the fauna is like the kid, it represents the lower passions. And lower passions are not only about sexuality, okay? Lower passions are all those actions, those energies that we have, that we cannot control them. So the passions never think about the consequences of what they do. They just do it. They just play with it. They just do whatever, okay? And it doesn't matter what happens after that. When you grow up, the adults start to think about the consequences of what you feel, what you react. So you start to control, okay? You start to control the lower passions. So as older you get, the much limitations and control you get. So basically the control over the lower passions is the thing that separate humans from animals, and also the kids that have no idea yet about the consequences of their actions. If we have this idea that the adults control the lower passions of the kid, the lower passions, so you feel safe by the control of your mind. But what happens if a person, if an adult, lose the control? If a person loses the control, this means that it comes back to the house of the faunus, to the kid. So when you lost the control, you go back to the faunus home. And in Greek, fauno is pan, and home is oikos. So panoikos is the house of the fauno, which is for us the word panic. What means panic? Panic is to lose the control, of your own emotions, of your own low emotions, and have no idea how to control it. So another important thing to understand is that it's not only related with fear. Panic is related to lose the control. Okay, that's it. So fear is one of those emotions over which you lose the control. Okay, but fear is one of the most important ones because fear was the key for evolution. So it's the main one. Fear is the main one that holds all the information of what you are now. I'm going to explain why this. Another thing that I want to clarify, because maybe this creates some mistakes, is about the word pan. In Greek, also pan means everything. So we're not talking about that pan, because, for example, pandemonium is the origin of pandemia. Pandemic is something that we have today, and pandemic comes from the word all the demons or all the bad things. Okay, that's what it means, pandemic. And also Pangea, all the lands, pansexual, all the sexes. Okay, so that would be a different thing. So the importance of fear, talking about the panic. Okay, panic is fear to lose control. Okay, so fear basically is the most important emotion that we have because it helps us to survive and to be what we are today. The very first cell that existed in the ocean survived because of fear, because it was afraid of anything that could happen around. So it was looking for different ways to survive. And we use that even today. We have fear to things because we want to survive. So fear is not something bad. We have to also clean this idea, this preconcept of fear, because fear is not something bad. Fear is something useful for our evolution if we are trying to survive in this world. So it's important. What happened? That fear starts to be useless when we are trying to transform ourselves, because fear says, hey, you have to be protected. So if there is nothing to take care of, so don't do it. Don't do anything. Okay? You have to preserve yourself. And that's the moment when fear is something negative for your growth as a self. But so fear is something negative for the growth as a self, as a being, but is useful for your species. It's useful for your body. The reason why fear is something that doesn't allow us to move forward is because fear was designed to put all its strength in order to help us survive under circumstances that can kill us. Some situations, some enemies that can kill us. So that's when the fear is activated and protect ourselves so we could survive, move forward as a species. But what happened with the moment that myself, with my mind, say, I want to change myself, I want to move forward. So fear is the one saying, but why? There's no danger around. Why do you want to change? I don't understand. We are fine now, so just keep here. That's why fear is not helpful when you are trying to awake from your own self. Okay. So now pay attention to this. All the fears in the history are the ones that put pressure on me to locate myself in the place where I find myself now. I mean, what I am now. Okay? We are here. So the fears are the one that molded what we are now. So if fear was the emotion helping us to evolve, to become what we are, and to be where we are, this means that our body is basically made up with fears. Basically, our body is designed by the lower passions. So what our consciousness is trying to do is to contain these lower passions. The consciousness is trying to give a purpose to those lower passions. And those 12 lower passions are divided in 12 systems. So these 12 systems, remember, in our biology, they are the nervous, endocrine, circulatory, digestive, excretory, reproductive, respiratory, muscular, bone, immune, lymphatic, and integumentary. So what this means, that our body is built by 12 systems that were created through the lower emotions. This is why our body is built inside the house of the Faunus. So, panic. So this means that if this consciousness lost the purpose, so one of those 12 systems will get into panic. So basically, we lost the control. So the goal that we have, according to the message he gave, is that what we have to do is to, if we want to change, to transform our reality, the first thing that we have to do is recognize the law of 12. This means that everything in the universe is based on the law of 12. Everything is 12. The whole universe is created by patterns of 12 attributes. Not only us, everything. Okay? So these 12 attributes in our body, in biology, is distributed in 12 systems, biological systems, that were created through fears. So what we have to do, as according to what he said, what he suggests, is to find the fears in our 12 systems, and by that I put consciousness giving a purpose to each one of these systems. And that's how I will find my center. Let's go to an example to understand how this works. Imagine we will take the example of the integumentary, which is the skin. Okay, the organ of the skin is the system, the integumentary system. So This means that, for example, for some people, to touch the skin, to do this is like the best feeling ever. But for some people, to touch the skin is like terrible. Okay, like horrible. It's like if you are cutting the skin. So they do, don't touch me, don't touch me. Okay, so in this system, this means that your integumentary system has a memory of fear because maybe you were abused by being hit by your parents or by or sexually abused. So you relate the touch with something wrong, with something that hurts. That's what it would be. So also what this Peter Pan said is that this emotion is related with someone in the life. So we have 12 people in the planet that are related to the emotional memory of my 12 systems. So when I, for example, I touch my skin, somehow my mind will bring me a specific person all the time. So when you think about a person all the time, when you have this feeling, so that's the person that you, in your emotion, relate with that fear or trauma. That would be an example of one of the systems. So what he said is that we have 9 months until August next year, in 2021, to do this job, to align all that information, to be aware of that information, because in that moment, we will have to work all together to align ourselves to the law of 12. All the rest of the information is too much, and I don't want to explain it now. I will do a video, separate video during this week, maybe during the afternoon for me, so I don't have the time, so I can talk whatever, and I will let you know when I'm going to do it. Explain all the rest of the information because it's too much and it's not related to the topic for today. So I wanted just to talk about panic today, so you already know what this being wanted to say yesterday. So the law of 12 that Peter Pan, it's funny to say that Peter Pan said yesterday, is that if we find the center, what we are going to do, if we work with the 12 that we have inside in our 12 systems, we will be able to calibrate the 12 parts of our DNA, the 12 people around, the 12 cultures, the 12 persons, the 12 regions of the planet, the 12 portals of the world, the 12 constellations. So everything that is 12 will be aligned like the parts of a clock, okay? Like everything aligning. So this is something that he said yesterday, that those beings, the faunos, they are beings that are showing us our weakness in the lower emotions, okay, the lower desires. So they are trying to mess with us, so we are not in the axis, in the balance, to prove if we are aligned or not. So basically, these beings are the lower emotions, okay? So what we try to do is to align that so we don't get into panic, because people usually, when we start to think what is coming on, what is going to happen, how I'm going to be prepared, we enter in panic because we think that we are losing control because we don't have all the clues. And as an advisor will tell you, the only way you can set yourself free from panic is to realize that you never had control. The way you get rid of panic is by allowing yourself to lose control. This is why he said, the last word he said was, get fun, enjoy. Because the biggest problem that we create is precisely to try to control something that we shouldn't control. Because these emotions are like a river that needs to move forward. The only reason why we usually control all the lower passions is because through thousands or through centuries, we have been said that the lower passions, are a sin. Do you remember that word? They are a sin that must be controlled. We cannot control a river that, without doubt, will go to the sea. So just picture this. The mind is trying to control the lower emotions, and the lower emotions are trying to go up. And why they go up? Because these lower emotions are the fuel to go up as the Kundalini rising and flowing. If you don't allow the Kundalini to move, you will never reach the spirit. So the mind is trying to control something that needs to go up. What we have to try to learn is how for this energy not to do this, but to do this movement going up. It's not about control to eliminate the panic, because panic basically is when the mind holds this here and then falls down because it cannot hold it. And panic. So how can I do it? How can I make this flow instead of the explosion? Is something that I have been saying since the very beginning of this of this project, and is the transversal word: coherence. The only way is coherence between what I think, what I feel, and what I do. This is why we are doing these 3 weeks: the mental week, the emotional week, and the physical week. So each day we are working with the coherence between the 3 parts. So for this energy to move softly and we not to get in panic, we have to find coherence. When I find coherence, I set myself free from all expectations. What helps me to set myself free from the doubt of what is coming. So basically, there's no more panic because you are flowing. And when you flow, there's nothing to control. So as Peter Pan said, Enjoy. So the last thing that he said for me was like funny, but it's related to the message of the Hathor that said all the stars are moving in the body of the Great Mother. Become the star. And that's why my higher self said, fly to the skies, Tinkerbell. He was talking about you shine from inside. So let's go to the alignment. I can't see anything today. The vibration for today is V. Statement for today: I am transmutation of service. The code for today is the 8th dimension. Here lies all possibilities. It's the toroid that connects all the possibilities of time. This means that this dimension of the cosmos is like the web of timelines interweaving, where every conceived decision is a possibility, where all the probabilities of every entity coexist. Sit comfortable. Start to move your shoulders in circles to relax the tension. I concentrate in my breathing and I let the weight of my shoulders fall down, relaxing the entire body. Become aware of the breathing. Become aware of the light around me. I feel the light caressing my skin. Sit comfortable. Start to move your shoulders in circles to relax the tension. I concentrate in my breathing and I let the weight of my shoulders fall down, relaxing the entire body. Become aware of the breathing. Become aware of the light around me. I feel the light caressing my skin. I feel it within me, shining in every cell. Perceive around you all the people that you know, from the closest ones to the farthest ones. Everyone surrounded by this light of yours. I feel how this light reflects on each one of these people. As I perceive them shining as water, for all these people starts to become waves in a great sea. I recognize this sea as my own mind. Take a deep breath and dive within the waters, going through the conscious, unconscious, and reaching the darkness of the subconscious. I feel and perceive the light vanishing above me as the shadow starts to surround me, feeling the darkness of my subconscious and the pressure of all the water of my emotions. I become aware here in this darkness of my deepest fears, my panics. What am I afraid of the most? I desire to set myself free from control over my panics. I become aware that facing my fears brings me to the freedom of my being. Take a deep breath. Am I capable to face my fears? Am I in my center? Take a deep breath. I observe my fears into their eyes. Contemplate the panic in front of you. And with your vibration, set the intention to be at the service of its transmutation. I am the transmutation of service. I am the transmutation of service. I am the transmutation of service. Son vuestros miedos los únicos capaces de mostrar vuestro nivel de conciencia. Es solo el miedo, el pánico, vuestro único termómetro. Un ser consciente no es alguien que ha eliminado sus miedos. Un ser consciente es quien les ha conocido y se ha hermanado con ellos. Un ser consciente no es un ser sin miedos. Es un ser que se atreve a mirarle a sus ojos. Eres, pues, digno de la consciencia. Take a deep breath. And I bring all this consciousness through my body by caressing, stretching, yawning, coming back here and now. And each one at its own time, come back here and now, opening your eyes. I will try to explain in English what she said. Basically, she said that someone that is looking for consciousness is not someone that must get rid of its fears. Someone that is conscious is someone that learned to see its fears into the eyes. Someone that is conscious, that is aware, is someone that acknowledge its fears and coexist with them, that is aware of them, not someone that doesn't have any fear. Basically, that's what she said. Sorry because of the shouting, but they told me to do that. So my alignments and meditations are very weird. Sorry, but that's part of it. So see you tomorrow, as always, at the same time. So as always, see you tomorrow at the same time, and just remember that to pay attention to your dreams tonight according to fears, and remember that if you don't know how to remember your dreams, sometimes it's useful to drink a lot of water before you go to sleep. So when you have to wake up to go to the bathroom, you will be in that moment where you are dreaming. So, hasta mañana.